Right. Okay. All right, so welcome back to a new series. A bit of a wrap up for the last campaign, maybe. Playing Germany under HPP 3.3.3 D, as in Delta. I think we were in the year, I think late 1945 or 1946. We did Sea Lion, and we actually defeated the United Kingdom. We defeated, of course, the Soviet Union. We controlled the Mediterranean and all of that. The Soviet Union was split into several countries, etc., etc. And we were on our way to support Japan in China, which was holding on to the seaboard, but it struggled quite a bit, finishing off nationalist China. Unfortunately, I lost a save game, or that save game, because in fact I was testing changes to HPP, and I wasn't careful, so I accidentally overwrote the save game that I had of that game. But I wasn't probably going to play much longer in that campaign anyway. I think an invasion of the US would have been a bit unrealistic, so maybe it's not a bad thing that the Germany campaign ended. Now, this time, we're going to try something different. In the HPP project, its creators tried to make Hearts of Iron 3 hard and interesting. So now I want to play the most difficult major I can think of on very hard, France. Probably one of the more difficult scenarios you can think of. I'm not quite sure yet how I want to set the difficulties. We have 3 options. We can give all AI countries these very hard bonuses, but then I'm not sure what that means for Germany versus Soviet Union. And to make things interesting for the Allies, I'm considering leaving the Soviet Union on normal, or maybe only on hard, and giving the Axis the very hard bonus, and leaving the Allies on normal. Let's give you the view of the game as well. Okay. First, let's get an overview. First, we start in January 1936. President, we have disbanded Théâtre d'Opération de Méditerranée Orientale. No doubt the scum of the earth that make up our armies will squander their more than generous pay in the taverns. Okay. And we have disbanded this other theater in Indochina, which is a French puppet time. Hello, Nitrogen 99. Great to see you again. I haven't played Black Ice myself, so I can only speak from basically watching other people playing Black Ice and reading the mod description, etc, etc. And to me, I've never had the interest to play Black Ice. The aim of that mod isn't interesting to me. I mean, I like flavor as much as everybody else, but it's not really the main aspect for me in the game. For me, the interesting aspects of Hearts of Iron 3 are excuse me. The interesting aspects are the complexity of managing an economy and an army, the strategic planning, and yeah, basically that. So in my view, Black Ice is a bit too focuses too much on flavor and not enough on realism or the more challenging aspects of the game. But I think both super mods and even other mods have profited a lot from each other, so I'm very happy that Black Ice is around. So, but I don't think it's very interesting for me. I think HPP really changes Hearts of Iron 3 into what it should have been, and what in my view Hearts of Iron 4 should have been. But at least we have this very great mod for me. Now let's take a good look at what we're dealing with, and let's also maybe lower the music volume again a bit. Okay. First of all, what kind of can we? It takes a while for the difficulty decision to become active. So we can take a look at the country first. We are allied. We are already in the Allies. Which is basically France, the United Kingdom, and all its dependent countries and colonies and so on. So that's, but interestingly, our own puppets. I think we have puppets. Our own puppets are Lebanon, Syria, Indochina. Okay, there are. Our own puppets are not in the Allies, just us. Okay. And we're guaranteeing the independence of a couple of countries. Yes, HPP does regularly get updated. Well, not maybe regularly as in every month, but there is an active mod team. Right now a lot of work is being done on the map, basically. The resource distribution in the world. It doesn't show in the countries that we don't control, but maybe we can see it here. Are we in the resources? No, that's it. Oh, okay, we're in the strength map mode here. So the resources like metal, energy, rare materials, and special resources like uranium, rubber, and so on. There's a lot of work going on that. Personally, I'm working on correcting the terrain. I'm always very much interested in topography. I'm also working. A lot of work has already been done on the order of battle of countries for 1946. excuse me, 1936. So how many divisions of what type, what composition they had at the time, so we can get accurate orders of battle. The majors are pretty much done. The United Kingdom and its puppets are done, but then there are a few countries left, namely Switzerland, some other minors like Hungary, a lot of countries in South America might need looking at for their order of battle. So those are a couple of things that are being worked on. If you go to the subforum for HPP, you can, there is one of the first threads you can find there is a so-called project plan. There are a lot of, there you can see what's right now on the agenda for the mod team. All right. We have 87 base IC. We have, of course, Metropolitan France and a bunch of units, mostly infantry, some light armor with cavalry, some motorized infantry, mountain infantry. We have a large colonial area, some colonial militia. Not very much to speak of course. We have a fleet in the Mediterranean. Some destroyers, they don't look too bad, pretty good technologies. What about the light cruisers as well? Not bad. You can see model 1939 and 1937. Some of the technologies are even ahead. What else do we have? We have some submarines. Not sure about their technology. Not too bad. It seems like the naval technologies aren't not too bad. They're at least up to date, with some exceptions. Some technologies are even ahead of their time. We have a fleet in the Atlantic, transports. We even have a carrier task force. Couple of more or less outdated battleships. We have an air force. A lot of things to consolidate. We have some strategic harbors. India. And then we have Indochina with a few units. Nothing too impressive, and we have a lot of problems in terms of military commanders. Not a lot of human resources, so to say. What else? 87 base IC, we're wasting some of it. Big surplus of steel and energy. Smaller surplus of rares. Oil, we're neutral. Manpower isn't crazy. Officer ratio acceptable. National unity a bit low. That's one of the big projects for next few rounds of updates for HPP. Improving the politics and diplomacy game. Right now there are a few problems unless you're a big country. targeting a country in a different faction or leaning to a different faction, it's kind of difficult to use spies and diplomacy to really change things around. And even as a smaller country, that's one of the test games I did. I played a South American country, Chile. I tried to raise threat and become a more aggressive country in South America. It was pretty much impossible. And it has to do with the mechanics of a big country influencing how smaller countries in its vicinity deal with each other. So that's one of the projects that's ongoing. Right now we're going to research that. What's in the production queue from the game? A battle cruiser, bunch of light cruisers, some haven't even started, and a destroyer flotilla, and heavy armor division. No air assets. Let's adjust here. In terms of the army, we will have to reorganize a lot. Let's check out technologies to see if it even makes sense to produce heavy armor. We are building heavy armor, but we don't have the technologies here right now. Those are things that bother me. In some countries you have mountain infantry in the starting order of battle, but you don't have the technology to build new ones or to train additional troops. I think those are other things that the mod team should be looking at in the near future. Do we want to keep building our fleet like this? Would be our priority for research. How much? We have 19 leadership. What's our politics? We are an intermediate industrial power. In HPP you can get more leadership by increasing your international status. So right now we are at regional industrial... No, we're here at intermediate industrial power. I suppose we have a base leadership. Base leadership is 0. We gain 4 from being an intermediate industrial power. Sorry, we gain 9 from being an intermediate industrial power, 4 from education level, and then total of 6 from being an intermediate power in terms of land, naval, and air, for a total of 19. And so this is how we can increase our leadership, which I think we should. We always should. Every country should try to increase its leadership all the time. You can increase the army, research education, and you can try to increase your international status, and the international status can be increased by, in our case, we should go from intermediate industrial power to major industrial power. We need a total IC of 120. If we don't Improve our research. So 87 times 1.175 gives us these 102. Can actually calculate how much more IC we need. So 120 divided by 1.175. Interesting. It's exactly, or almost exactly 102. So that means we should increase our base IC from 87 to 102, which translates to 25. No, that's incorrect. To 15 units of IC. Then we would have 2 additional in leadership. I also have to say this is the first time play an allied country in HPP on stream. So I can't promise I'll follow a perfect min-max strategy. Possible that some people are of the opinion that France shouldn't build. I see. 1 unit of IC costs 4.78 to construct for a duration of almost a year. We can dedicate, it's around 20 to 30 for production. If we build 2 at a time, because 7 years, if we make 2 batches per year, that would be 3.5 years. We'll see, it's pretty costly. But I don't think we have much of a choice in the long run. Not so happy with these heavy tanks. We'll leave them in production for now. About politics, our national unity is a bit low. We have a lot of modifiers. As soon as something or somebody is influencing our national unity, we'll have large changes. Combined 65%. Yeah, in either direction, of course. We have few ministers to select from. Do we have anything really bad? This foreign minister makes us very susceptible to influence. This is good. Plus 10% IC, I think we can use that. If we can get spies to improve our own national unity, this will help. Political intel. Not quite sure what that even does. Political intel, maybe I'm not sure if that helps with finding spies that are trying to destabilize our country, potentially. Espionage bonus is probably good for when we are trying to steal technologies from others. Doesn't really matter here. We're not going for a human wave. Chief of the Army Infantry Theory and Grand Battle Plan. Yeah, I think we'll stick with this main, or with this operational strategy. E-lane control is one of the naval doctrines. This one here. So we're pretty strong in carriers and cruisers. And in sea lane control, not so strong in battleship operations. But we technically have the option to go either way. I think overall our naval knowledge is pretty strong. How do we look in terms of air? Good training for fighters, close air support, and bombers. Fighter doctrines. Too strong, but here we are pretty strong. Bombing doctrines, and we even have something in naval. And nothing in strategic bombing. Here we could get a proponent of the elastic defense doctrine. Would favor motorized infantry and tank units, and this person is more ideal for infantry warfare. And our Chief of the Air Force focuses on strategic Air Force doctrine, which we're not pursuing, but we also don't have anybody else or any other special traits helping our Air Force, so it doesn't really matter. Let's figure out production and then let's unpause the game. I think we'll just keep going like this for the moment. We have to figure out technologies first anyway. Let's just get a quick idea how we're doing in terms of infantry. Pretty good. A lot of technologies unlocked already. About armor. Not really anything. Well, we do. Maybe this is more telling. Okay, so we can build all types of armor, motorized, mountain, even mechanized support regiments. And infantry support tanks. It's pretty good in terms of ground units. What about air units? Heavy bombers, transports, naval bombers, medium carrier air groups. A lot of the air units are ready. And I guess in terms of naval, we don't have the light carrier. But every other surface unit and submarines. Okay. That's good, so we don't have to research or invest a lot of leadership into this for the moment. This looks good as well. Fighters, we could improve their ground attack capabilities. What about industry? Here we have a couple of projects to research. That would be helpful here, some of the theories. But we want to cover the basics first. Infantry, artillery, etc. Nothing to research here. In terms of naval, I think we should focus on staying up to date. In terms of air, we should continue building up our capabilities. Let's start with the basics. We need spies. We probably need spies in the beginning. I'll try not to have to research those technologies. I'll try to cover our needs by imports and exports. This is pretty much it for the industry section. About armor. We're pretty good here. Although naval is usually a long-term investment. I don't think they have priority right now. We'll have to think about fleet and air force anyway. We can. I think it's safe to invest one project in each category. Should we look for most here? And then we can always increase priority if necessary. In terms of escorts, this one is furthest back, so let's go with this. Industry we covered. No secrets yet to research. What about theories? Where do we want to invest? These over here improve technologies or research overall, as well as these. Not quite sure it's worth it. Especially given that we have limited leadership. Does this do? Allow construction of nuclear research lab. And this one, nuclear theory is a difficult scientific area, but if we want ever to have a military application, we need to develop nuclear technologies as quickly as we can. Normally, our theory in this area is increased as we research specific technologies. However, if we set teams to look at the more general theory, their results will speed up other applied research. So this is the overall move. Maybe we should research this, but what else do we have? High throughput, improve that. I think we should go for something more attainable. In terms of land, let's improve our infantry. We're not going to invest in this right now. And here we'll improve our pilots first and foremost, or interceptors. We'll focus on that. Now, what about intelligence? We only have 4 domestic spies. We need to get those up to the maximum. Before we do anything else, we will train up a few spies. High priority. Try to raise the national unity. If we catch spies, we'll improve or increase counter-espionage efforts. Okay, let's unpause. I'll wait for the difficult decisions to appear, and then we'll set the difficulty decisions. So we should also trade, probably. HPP have decided setup, so that's like a referee country that takes care of the mod in the background. All the stuff that couldn't be set up properly in the history files is now set via global event. Thank you for your cooperation, by the way, HPP. Nation will fire similar maintenance events from time to time. Don't be disturbed by that, please. It's perfectly normal. In the United States, of course, the Great Depression is still the main problem in terms of economy and politics. Pause the video if you want to read it. I'm gonna click it away because I've read it many times. Basically just explains the in-game penalties to the American economy. Germany decides to purchase Swedish metal, and the United Kingdom enables Gurkha recruitment. Now, let's see. That's our trade. We're not trading anything. We're going to use the... First, let's set the difficulty settings. Difficulty settings. This decision opens up a menu of decisions that allows you to create custom difficulty settings for your game. Note, you need to close and reopen the diplomacy interface to force it to refresh. Right. Okay, so now we can choose. All these difficulty decisions will give bonuses to certain factions. We can either apply bonuses to all AI countries, I think, or to all AI factions. Let's give very hard to Axis. Not sure, normal, hard. I don't want to give them very hard because then I fear that the Axis will not be able to deal with it. Let's try normal. This is, after all, a test. And I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I'll click normal AI difficulty for allies. Very hard for the Axis, normal for the Comintern, and normal for the allies. Of course, as we're allied with the United Kingdom, we can see their troops, whatever they are doing. Now let's also pause for another day, then we'll set the trade AI. The United States have decided to continue the New Deal. The New Deal was a series of economic programs implemented in the United States to fight the Great Depression, focusing on what historians call the 3 R's: relief, recovery, and reform. Japan stores some fuel. The decision is used to help the Japanese AI manage their fuel better while only at war with non-naval countries like China. People's Republic of China decides to call in the reserves. We're at war. We should mobilize our reserves right away. Okay, we're on January 2nd now. A spy in Iraq has been detected and neutralized. Political turmoil in the Soviet Union. And the Republic of China is aligning itself to the Axis. And then we have 2 events, resources from our puppets. So resources These resource events work this way. If puppets of a certain major exceed their stockpiles over a certain threshold, they will automatically give these excess resources to their masters. That's the same for every other country as well. We can gain 1500 of energy 3 times and 1500 metal from Indochina. And then we get to select the operational doctrine of 1937. This is in here. Operational doctrine. So basically the idea is that Germany is in this doctrine tree, Blitzkrieg, etc. The United States and maybe Canada are in this tree. This is a more eastern tree, Soviet Union, Japan, China, etc. And most of the European majors are in this tree here, and battle plan. But of course you can, if you want to, you can switch over to a different tree by researching one of these projects. They're very easy, as you can see here. And then you can follow a different tree, but we're going historical, so we'll stick with the Grand Battle Plan, which mainly focuses, as we can see here, gives some bonuses to combat reinforcement, certain tactics are improved. Basically over time, just compounding those effects. So for this tree, it's beneficial to stick to it. I'm not sure this is the same for others. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so let's stick with Grand Battle Plan. Not very good for building up a fast tank force, but stick with that. And then we get to decide on a tank doctrine. There are 3. Combined arms focus, the armored Schwerpunkt focus, and the infantry support role. It's basically these middle 3. Right now we're in the firepower focus. Right now we have a bonus to organization, defensiveness, toughness for infantry, also for cavalry. I think we're going to compound on this by sticking to the firepower focus. Oh, I was looking rubbish right now. Actually, we're here. We're talking about these 3 trees. Which is the infantry tank role. Basically, as far as I can see, focusing on light tanks, infantry support tanks, and heavy armor. Let's stick with this actually. I kind of like to try this out. This is the infantry support role. The infantry doctrine, as we saw, we're in the firepower doctrine. We'll stick with that as well. And here we go. Now let's set the trade AI. Let's hide the difficulty settings. Don't need those anymore. Go for the trade decisions. What do we want? Our stockpiles are growing, but we don't have any penalties yet anywhere. So let's increase the oil stockpile a little bit. Select this once. This decision will instruct the AI to stockpile more oil. Each time you take the decision, the target stockpile will be increased by 50% of the default value to a maximum of 200%. Not quite sure what the default value is, but I think it's related to IC, possibly. Or maybe to the international status. So for every country, depending on its international status, there is a certain base value, and then the trade AI will achieve certain levels in reference to that base level. Let's unpause again. President Shaanxi now grants transit rights to Xibei Sama. This may be a significant development, okay. Max IC came down a bit for some reason. In my opinion, we should maybe replace producing one cruiser with one unit of IC, just to keep the IC growing a little bit. Right now we can't afford much more, but not really happy without having any IC in production. I want to do some upgrades over time, but maybe we'll just do constant, maybe 5 units. I see we'll have them dedicated to upgrading. We get more resources from puppets, more energy. You can see here no trade routes have yet been opened. The kingdom is using their diplomatic influence on Italy. It would help, of course, if we could move Italy away from the fascist faction. So maybe we should think about using our diplomats that way. Of course, that will cost us leadership. Hungary is taking steps to align themselves to the Axis. Japan's storing some fuel. Spanish are recruiting Gumiers. And Xibei Sama calls in the reserves. Italy is already in the fascist corner, but now it's very slowly moving to the Allies. We can't combine our two influences. But we could send spies to Italy. Republic of China is aligning itself to the Comintern. Why do I get these messages? I thought I set the AI to... Oh, I need to automate trade. Let's accept oil trade from Poland, and we'll accept the metal trade as well. Generate some money income. Okay, we're now storing up some spies. We're not catching any spies yet. And national unity is rising. The now maybe we can scale back vice training, start researching. And we can start. Nepal also enables Gurkha recruitment. I think we can do that also. See, let's hide the trade decisions. Yeah, actually, the AI is concluding deals, as we can see. Okay, so we're now importing oil and exporting fuel, metal, etc. I don't mind these exports. We have pretty large surpluses. As long as we can sustain our industry, and as long as we can stay below the penalties, I'm happy. We'll keep an eye on the metal. Okay, we now dedicate a lot more IC to production. Maybe we can even start a second unit of IC. But we'll keep pushing with these cruisers, get them out of the production. Japan is taking steps to align itself to the Axis. And the Soviet Union is trying to move Brazil towards the Comintern. And Ethiopia is preparing for war. I wanted to check out my own. Yeah, we can enable Gumia recruitment. And it basically just means we'll be able to recruit special forces or elite infantry. Colonial elite infantry, that is. We can't use this. This would of course be useful. It would increase our production. We can only activate this once we have certain conditions met. Umias were Moroccan troops who fought for the French Third Republic. These men were highly skilled at night fighting in the desert hills and mountains, their homeland, and saw extensive service in the fight against the Kingdom of Italy. In Spain, these men were known as the Mehal la Alifiana. Pretty much all the colonial powers at one point employed the capabilities of their colonial troops. Now let's start to think about our strategic plans. Of course, we want to preserve metropolitan France from any attacks from present or former aggressors, namely Germany. Of course, in the First World War, the Kingdom France and Italy were allied. This might change. Let's go through. Ethiopia is advertising the soldier profession. Our spy in Turkey was neutralized. Try to make some sense of our army. Okay. We'll try to find divisions that have a weird setup. Okay. Cavalry division, questionable. Very large garrison divisions. Infantry mixed with garrison. Mountain infantry mixed with garrison. Infantry mixed with regular infantry. Mountain infantry mixed with motorized support. Okay. Let's first deal with mechanized units. Italy's, or the UK is no longer influencing Italy. Maybe we should start doing that. Motorized infantry looks good for the most part. Another area of reorganization will be the mountain infantry. I think I'll prefer pure formations. Still training a lot of spies. Germany reoccupies the Rhineland. Once the home front was secured, Hitler turned his attention to foreign policy with 4 increasingly daring acts. On March 16, 1935, the Treaty of Versailles was violated by Germany as military conscription was reintroduced. The treaty stated that the German army should not exceed 100,000 men, when nothing more than official protest from England and France ensued. And I suppose this should mean UK. Hitler proceeded a year later, March 7, 1936, to occupy the demilitarized Rhineland, again violating the Versailles Treaty. Lose some neutrality over this. And then we have metal storing problems for ourselves. for Lebanon and for Syria and then Indochina. Not terrible, but it means we're not using our resources efficiently. So here I can't yet see the penalty. Now we get it for 25% and 5%. Okay. Which now they show up. We also have them for rares. For energy though, okay. I'm not quite sure it's because we produce too much or if it is because they are set in the game files somehow to simulate the economic difficulties in the pre-war years. Now we also have energy storing problems, or coal, rather. Question is, what do we do with our excess spies? Could shift over 2 units of leadership to Italy. Now we're influencing Italy. Germany reoccupies the Rhineland, we saw that. Soviet Union stopped influencing Brazil. We have all these storing problems. And in the UK, King George V dies. And we started influencing. The Kingdom of Italy. Okay, here we have a number of mechanized or semi-mechanized units. Let's try to rearrange those. Light armor, motorized. I have a better idea. Can cavalry be upgraded? Yes, they can be upgraded to light, medium, and motorized infantry. Okay. We'll upgrade this regiment to motorized infantry. Do the same here with these 2 divisions at first. We'll prioritize these 3 regiments for conversion. Maybe we should also prioritize this heavy armor. This will cost us 13 IC, that's quite a bit. It has to be done. We need to reorganize our army and also rename units, of course. And as my French is a bit rusty, I'm gonna need a translator. Assassination attempt of opposition leader, the leader of the largest opposition party, the target of an assassination attempt late last night. Naturally, suspicions have been raised towards our party members, and as a consequence, riots have erupted on the streets between our followers and groups supporting the opposition. Let the army handle it. Gain 5 in dissent. Do what you can. Let's not use the army to deal with this. Mongolian spy was detected, okay. Not too tragic, so this will become one of our spies was detected in Germany, okay. This will become the first Can I get this? Nope. I don't think I can end it right now. Should have an accent the other way. That's okay. Do we have a suitable combined arms leader? A few logistics wizards, but not really combined armed specialists. As we like, here we have a battle master, but he's already in armor division. We have to. We have a lot of old cards. A lot of reorganization will have to go on. That's right, French army disbanded their regional commands. I think we'll have to build them up later. Hello, this Kigyo fan. You want to know why French fortifications have rear view mirrors so they can look at the enemy they're supposed to be defending against? Well, we'll try to change that perception of French military activity. It wasn't mistakes were made clear historically. However, there is a theory that French and the British actually together messed up in the fall of 1939 when Germany was busy in Poland historically. There are signs that a coordinated and intelligent French-British strategy who could actually have succeeded in preventing Germany from going on its rampage in Europe. We're still training spies. Should we kind of tempted to go after Italy? Try to go after them low-key. And let's... Okay. Some reason low priority means sending every possible spy. Let's support our ruling party. No, not the ruling party. Our party. Well, no, and the thing is, in 1939 they didn't have a plan yet. Or there were different plans, there were different ideas. Later their plan failed in 1940. But there was actually, it's a little known fact, but there was a very small French offensive in September or October 1939. They actually went about 10 kilometers deep into Germany, I believe, in this area here. And they found almost no resistance. But they were so scared even of their own, like they got artillery support, and the French soldiers moving into German territory were confused and they thought it's a strong German counterattack, and then they abandoned their excursion. But I mean, it's always easy to be a better general in hindsight. Clear up the production. Bit annoying, this mechanized unit here. I'm also in the course of upgrading cavalry to motorized infantry. And in general trying to reorganize the French forces. We have a light fleet here. Cruisers to destroy flotillas. Submarines here. And a heavy cruiser group. Civil war in Spain. Spanish state splits from the Spanish Republic. That's a problem. I want to guard my borders. It would also be nice to not have fascist literal backstabbers in the back of the French Republic. Soviet Union decides to intervene in the Spanish Civil War. A confusing message. Is this a German spy being caught in France, or is a French spy caught in Germany? Not sure. Spanish state mobilizes reserves and aligns itself to the Axis. Base on aligns itself to the Axis, and Germany intervenes. I think we should also intervene if we can. Why can't we? For some reason we can't yet. Maybe that'll change once I have troops on the border. I have a bunch of heavy cruisers here. Not too many escorts. Transports. Sure, what's up with our pretty weak infantry divisions. See if we can reform those a little bit. Make more powerful divisions. It's 2 infantry regiments is not enough. So it's a good thing that there are a lot of light cruisers in the production queue. They will create the escorts that we're going to need. Research coming along. A member of our government has been accused of cooperating with the opposition party. According to the source, the minister in question has accepted bribes more than once to make sure certain proposals are rejected. Naturally, the minister himself denies any involvement. Give him a new position. One of the parties will lose our organization. Defend him. No, I don't want to lose unity because I'm with a lot of effort trying to increase my national unity. Second London Naval Disarmament Conference opened in London, the United Kingdom, on December 9, 1935. It resulted in the Second London Naval Treaty, which was signed on March 25, 1936. If we decline relationships will change for the worse, and if we agree keep good relations with the US and the United Kingdom, I think we'll sign. So that's the UK and the US. And Italy declines to sign that treaty. Okay, this HQ will now be in command of the border with Germany. One of our spies in Portugal was detected. And we're improving agriculture. Let's take a look at our spies. What about one in Germany? Germany is increasing its counter-espionage efforts. What if we try to find our neighbor, the Spanish state? Agriculture is now ahead of time, so let's stop researching that. And instead improve our anti-tank weapons. think this means we are catching spies in our own country. Okay, so France is not a major. Interesting, I didn't know that. We're shocked to inform you that the fools from the Spanish Republic have cancelled our most generous trade agreement. We will no longer receive 0.69 money for 7 supplies, okay. Germany is influencing Lithuania. And in the Spanish Republic, people are taking up arms. And metal storing problems will be removed. Nationalists are taking up arms as well. And we are facing a strike. We want to deal with dissent. Reduced IC efficiency. Let's go peaceful. And let's see if we can... For some reason we can't support any side in the Civil War. Organization is around 20 and the popularity is 28%. Okay, so either of those must be 50 for us to be able to support anybody. And Italy decides to reconstruct. One of their ships, and we more manpower. Dissent, of course, improving supply production. And that's now ahead of time. Freeze up even more. I think we should use that to improve our fighters with a high priority. Speaking of which, what's our Air Force? Spanish Republic needs already to mobilize reserves. Okay, so our Air Force isn't too big. There is more somewhere. Right. Okay, so we have two groups of medium bombers. And we're improving industrial production. Picks up a little bit for the strikes that we're having. Trying to create equal groups that can support each other. Good, good, good. Okay. Like to have clean, correct names. We have 2 strategic bomber groups. Get them out of here. Air Force reorganized. Speaking of which, didn't quite work. As I expected. Following Italy's withdrawal from the naval treaties, the Regia Marina modernized the battleship Duilio. Modernizing a capital ship requires extensive time and effort, and the ship won't be available for combat duty until reconstruction is completed. In game terms, the ship will be removed from the map and its modernized version will be placed in the production queue. Initial IC cost and completion time will be changed by the game engine. I'm trying to create a HQ. This one will be the Air Force HQ. No aerial units will attach to it. Did this in my last campaign as Germany. And it gives a very clean order of battle. Industrial production is ahead of time. Okay. In that case, maybe let's improve our steel production. I think that's a good idea. Now we also have an idea of our Air Force. United Kingdom decides to reconstruct the HMS Queen Elizabeth. Okay. We still can't elect to support either of the Spanish sides in the Civil War. We're running out of spies. What about Italy? Italy is investing in counter-espionage. Japan decides to upgun the IGN Mikuma cruiser. And we're improving industrial efficiency and light bomb. Here with fighters. Okay. Could try to get the light carrier going, or we could improve our escorts further. Or armor and trucks. Okay, light cruiser armament is improved. We're exporting a lot of metal. We're improving capital ship armor. Let's switch over to capital ship main armament. All storing problems are solved in our puppets. As well as metal storing problems. Improving combat radios. Which are now ahead of time. Improve our artillery. Hello, Tiroy. Nice to see you. That French OOB is still a gigantic mess. And we have elections on May 4. I think those are pretty much still the ministers. Take a close look. Are we being moved diplomatically? Not really, we're not drifting anything. And we're managing to move Italy a bit away from fascists. We are influencing it, and we're also working with spies to propone or to strengthen our own political faction inside Italy. can conclude a non-aggression pact with them. Regarding the border with the Italians, with the Spanish nationalists. And we have transferred a few infantry divisions. Every country pretty much can send volunteers, but we can't for some reason. What about we switch from raising national unity, which isn't working very much either. What if we try to strengthen the ruling party? And maybe we can trigger the prepare for war decision. Ethiopia is defending itself, and the Spanish Republic that's not looking good. Italians will soon win here. Is there anything else that we can do for our neighbors? The Spanish Republic. They lack pretty much everything. I'd like to give it to them, but difficult. See if we can get one trade deal signed. Maybe that will facilitate other deals. Ethiopia is puppeted. French leadership is a big problem. We don't have a lot of high-ranking commanders. I think we even have some divisions without commanders. Certainly a lot of wars don't have commanders. the United Kingdom decides to reconstruct the HMS Valiant, following Japan's and Italy's withdrawal from the naval agreements. What's the plan for this campaign? So the Axis is on very hard, and the Comintern are on normal difficulty, and so are the Allies. And I want to see how difficult it is to survive as France, or for how long I can survive as France against the Axis. And I've never played an allied country on stream in HPP, so I want to give this a try as well. Basically about trying out different things. Not necessarily expecting to conquer vast lands as I did in the recent Germany campaign. And it is quite difficult, I have to say, because while I'm dealing with dissent, I'm dealing with political turmoil. I have some worker strikes that reduce my production. Let's see, can we... I want him back, giving me additional, I see. Maybe we should select him. Yeah, for improving the influence of our ruling party. So I think if I can get it, it's the organization. At 20. Popularity is at 30. If I can get it up to 50, I can trigger the prepare for war decision, improving various aspects of my economy. Go back to the political specialist here, since we're trying to influence governments in Spain and Italy. The army commanders can stay for the most part. Do we have something better here? Changes in national unity right now. I'd like to increase my national unity still, but we'll wait. Japan forms Mengoko. We're improving small arms. We have appointed a few different ministers. Small arms is ahead of time. We're pretty much to date. Let's see if we can move this one over. I think for the future we'll stick with light cruisers. If we build more escorts, we're building a lot right now anyway. Submarines aren't really focus at the moment. I think we should invest in another project here. We might build more capital ships in the future. What is surviving? Yeah, exactly. Surviving the German onslaught that I certainly expect. What is the difference between party popularity and party organization? I haven't looked into the files really of the game, what exactly they do, but first of all, they're just two different things. So I assume that the game treats them differently, and I would say that there are just two aspects. You can have a small party that's not very popular in the population, but it can be well organized, and then it probably will help it to grow. If and the party that's badly organized will probably not have a chance to grow, and that will influence where your country stands politically, or whether you can leave a faction, join a different one, things like that. But I'm not really sure how exactly they influence the game per se. Unfortunately, it looks like, well, the Republicans have managed to clear out the pocket here, but it looks like they are losing territory over here. Along the border. And we have finished a light cruiser. I'm still not quite sure how to organize my fleet. I'll leave them there for the moment. Prioritize the heavy unit here. For that, yeah, I see. And the upgrades of cavalry to motorized infantry, and then the heavy armor. Not aware of the historical order of battle for French army, so I'm just gonna set up my own. Try to create a reasonable order of battle. We lack a lot of commanders. We even have an two infantry divisions without leaders. At least at the moment. Hopefully we can change that soon. Germany imposes an embargo on Poland. What are we doing in terms of spies? Spies are working quite well in nationalist Spain. Germany, we're losing spies. About Italy. Yeah, they came down from 10. Fortunate, we're improving infantry training. It's good. Poland cancels oil trade. Try not to lose as much metal. See if the AI is going to increase the metal stockpile. So upgrades to cavalry will soon finish. These two light armor divisions. Quite sure what to do after this. We'll have some cavalry inside armor divisions. Let's check if we have any other armor. I think I pulled all the armor together to get it reorganized. Italy is still going strong in terms of counter espionage. Improving heavy artillery guns, good. Question is, do we... Now we keep researching here. Heavy artillery. Cruiser armament. We're ahead of time in bombers, so nothing here. Same with fighters. In terms of industry, there's 2 projects at the moment. One in theories, improving supply organization. Quite sure why I'm researching that. And we have unlocked the next stages here. In the land doctrines, same in the operational doctrine. We don't have anything in naval doctrine, but that's because we are very strong in at least 2 areas of research. I think we'll eventually get started with these crew trainings. About air. In air we are improving our fighters. Our fighter doctrine basically. Target selection and efficiency. Soviet Union is negotiating with investors. Germany and Italy finding our spies, same in Yugoslavia. It's unfortunate. I can't dedicate more leadership to spies training. I need it for research and some diplomacy. Eventually we'll also have to train officers. We also think about propping up our neighbors, Belgium and Switzerland. Okay, so the cavalry has finished. Okay, we'll take these. Okay, supply throughput advanced, now ahead of time. Not quite sure this was a good research project for us at this point. Let's see what else we can research. Maybe we should if that is ahead of time. Let's improve officer training. And the core that we just created here. Our organization is ahead of time. Here, okay. We'll keep one project in this subject here, theories. Question is naval engineering. Don't think that should be a priority. Automotive theory is key to developing new technologies for tanks and mechanized forces. Mechanical engineering. As for new industrial plants, vehicles and engines. Chemical engineering is improving resources, electronic engineering. Radar, etc., etc. What would France probably have picked? I feel like we should go for maybe mobile warfare. Let's go with this. Right, so we're forming a third armor core. What do we call the other one? Combat blindé. Right, this is the first, and then this is the second one. They're improving anti-tank guns. Nice. This is the second. The not sure how this works. My French is a bit rusty. Would be good enough. Anti-tank guns are ahead of time. In that case, could either go for marine infantry. Or improving light tanks. I think we should pick one of this, maybe more art. Not too concerned about ships at the moment. Numbers and fights are okay. How do we had one One in steel production. Maybe it's a good thing it's not there anymore. Or should we research another theory? Think about aeronautic research. Probably. And would research this. We'll leave Naval for the moment. And these, maybe... Yeah, let's go for aeronautic engineering. Did the AI start cancelling these metal exports? We're still trading away. A lot of metal. Let's cancel the trade with Cuba. Stabilize my metal. I think I need to help the AI a little bit. Achieve that. Yeah, my French is actually oral is okay, I can understand and I can probably make myself understood. But the grammar and written French is still a big big riddle to me. I'm trying to, it's probably as big a riddle as the French order of battle right now. What I'm trying to do is I've set up 2 armies. Second army and first army. We're improving armored cars. And they are now ahead of time. We'll keep this project in here. We'll go for light armor. Finishing the next light cruiser. Need a lot of reinforcement and upgrades, of course. I have upgrades limited to 5 units of IC just to keep up a little bit. Guys are okay. I think we're going to reduce size production. Let's put it to 16 for the moment. A bit more production here. In terms of spies, no more spies in Germany. Can we keep up in Italy? No, not really. 1 to 1 from 10. What about finish state? No problem there. That's pretty good. Solve the coal storing problems. We're rebuilding our metal supply, metal stockpile. Get rid of the trade decisions. Do we have... We still can't support either side in the Spanish Civil War. How are things going with Italy? Italy is still moving towards the Allies. Even increased. We only have one carrier air group, but I think since it's a regular carrier, we'll be able to take 2. So we should probably be building a second group for carrier planes. Also on carrier group only to have 1 destroyer flotilla. We can add this light cruiser to the carrier flotilla. We have 2 additional destroyer flotillas. This is a transport group, escort destroyers. Switch over the transport. Then we'll create some battleship groups. Thing is, battleships are pretty old. Gourmet class, I think that's pretty sure that's First World War. Not a lot of reach. I'm going to compare this to what we can currently build. Let's see. Excuse me. What happened here? Checked our build options at the beginning of the game. I would say in around January or February. And we had CVs, battleships. And I believe heavy cruisers. And now we're down to light cruisers, destroyers, transports, and submarines. Still build carrier air groups. As far as I can tell, we haven't lost any land units that we can build. But we did lose naval units. That's pretty weird. I don't understand this because our technology is actually good. We have to care. Even have carrier technologies. Quite sure. Going on here. Very interesting. Anyway. Switzerland cancels the metal trade and the energy trade. We're improving interception tactics, good. These are now ahead of time. Let's get this, let's improve our naval strikes. Maybe we should get started on these trainings. They're quite bewildering. I think we have all the necessary technologies. Weird. Oh, this was important. King in the United Kingdom abdicates to marry someone who wasn't suitable for him to marry, so he was forced to abdicate. The Republic is holding ground here in the Far East, but they're losing territory in the center. Lost a lot of territory here around Sevilla. Lost all the port cities in the north. And we still can't support them, can we? Nope. Here we can do, because our pretty bad. I'm trying to increase the popularity, or I'm trying to help this party, the Democratic Alliance. And it was at 30% and now we're down to 18%. Problem do we have? We have foreign spies messing with our politics. Volunteers from Finland are helping the Spanish Republic, that's good. But my biggest concern is my naval construction. I was hoping I was going to be able to build more battle cruisers. Olympic Games take place in Germany. On the first half of August. Same message twice. Of course, they had to tone down the anti-Semitism a bit during the time when they had international guests. Infantry divisions on foot with motorized support seems to be common. We're improving industrial efficiency, that's also good. The Spanish Republic is mobilizing more militia. And now we're having oil storing problems. First, let's deal with this. I think we should get into pilot training. I think everything else we're pretty much up to date. The Metaxas regime in Greece chooses to save Greece, okay. Not sure what that means at this point. Might be struggling internally. Another infantry division with motorized support. Improving light cruiser main armament, okay. Then we have a couple of somewhat odd mountain infantry divisions. There's a total of 6 mountain infantry regiments. N 12, 13, 15. 16. That's most of it. 16, 15 would be ideal. That's 5 full divisions. Guess we probably have more somewhere else. Or no. Very chaotic, very French, this whole organization. Cavalry mixed with infantry tanks, which are the slowest tanks in the game. I will deal with that later. More important to me is to fix this. I need to be able to start construction on battle cruisers. Still doesn't make sense. I had the blueprints at the beginning of the game and now I don't have them anymore. Is it maybe because these are too far apart, or? Not sure what the problem is. Do have a penalty here, so let's actually stop buying so much oil. Reduce oil stockpile. Okay, so we're no longer exporting metal, so the AI understands to switch around things. I think it'll understand to stop importing oil as well, eventually. We might need to train a few more diplomats at one point. Moving anti-tank weapons, nice. We're now ahead of time. Man-portable anti-tank weapons anyway. If we leave this project here, then I see Marine infantry or Arctic warfare equipment. Could move it here to infantry support tanks. I don't think we need it here in the ships. The fact that we can't build these ships is not, I don't think it has to do with anything weird here. Could it? Doesn't say allow. All the base technologies are we already have all the base technologies. Makes no sense. Bombers and fighters are good for now. Aim here. What about theories? This just helps with researching naval technologies. It's not necessary to build surface units. Let's just keep helping our fighters. A bit of descent. National unity is stable. No more spies in Germany, no more, just one spy in Italy. Increase priority a bit here. We can keep them from joining an alliance with Germany. Help. Rares are pretty low. Are we exporting rares? No, we're importing. Let's see if we can increase rare stockpiles. How about production? Next cruiser will be ready soon. Spanish Civil War is going badly. We have submarines here and three more battleships. Okay. This light fleet here. colonial forces is also a project I haven't really looked at yet. What is this? Oh, we have 2 more units here, a heavy cruiser and a light cruiser. Are there French territories in the Pacific somewhere? I think here, right. But this is American. French. The vastness of the Pacific Ocean. Falklands and South Georgia. Right, and these islands, the Kerguelen, are French as well. Madagascar is French. Some militia regiments here. Very little. All in all, quite far from each other. Questionable use. Cruiser is ready. More to follow, and then we have like a half fast division somewhere. This one, yeah, we'll combine it with this one. So it doesn't have any support, so we'll have to see. Build mechanized support if we want. How many more regiments can we build of mountain infantry? 2 more. I think I counted 16, so 2 more would be 18. That would give us 6 full mountain infantry divisions. Pretty good. We should try to do that. It's the next research that's gonna get finished probably. Let's see. And we're gonna need some spies. I think we'll switch over for a day. For a couple of days rather. Build up maybe 30 diplomats. Spanish Republic finished soon. Let's see what's going on in China. People's Republic controls an additional province. Otherwise, not much can be said. Speed it up a little bit. Should get these cruisers done so we can start building up our army and air force. Speaking of production, we need a lot of reinforcement and upgrades as well. Let's increase the upgrades a little bit. Let's change back here from training diplomats. We lose a couple of days on these projects, but okay. Spanish state starts to get stronger. No more spies in Italy. I don't think we can maintain both on the Spanish state and Italy at the same time. Spain is less important now. Let's see if we can interrupt the Italian. Oops, that sounds like the game crashed, which it did. Oh, I'm sorry. It's intermission. So, since I've upgraded my drivers, I haven't had any audio problems anymore with Hearts of Iron 3. But sometimes it'll still crash when it tries to save the game. That's just how things are. I have autosave on weekly, so it wouldn't be too bad. September 7. I think we were in September or 10 probably when it crashed. Alright, we're back. made the switch from training diplomats. Don't remember what else I was doing. Increase production. For upgrades. I think we're messing with guys. We deprioritized Spanish state. How is Italy doing in terms of... Interesting that Italy is considered weird. When I was checking, France wasn't in... Something is weird going on with... No. Our units are still not back. I have to find out what's going on there. Let's speed this up. I think the high speeds also can contribute to the probability of the game crashing. Usually I think it crashes when it tries to autosave. So. Let's hope it doesn't crash next time. Quite sure what to do about the lack of leaders. We'll figure it out eventually. First army. Nationalists are advancing on the remaining pocket here. These will not survive, of course. I think we had a bit of an impact on nationalist Spain. Fascist faction is now much smaller. Oh, this is the Republic, sorry, or the nationalists. Yeah, but still, I think in the beginning they were... Fascists had about 2/5. And now together they have about a good third. Maybe a bit less even. Maybe the Republicans will lose, but the nationalists won't be as far right. We're improving capital ship main armament, good. And capital ship engine, I mean we'll get them back. Production, nope. I don't know why that is, because I would actually like to start production eventually. I need to research more here. I don't see the connection really to other capital ships. I was intending to build more battle cruisers or maybe BBs, but not necessarily carriers. I don't think I'm gonna waste leadership here until I have figured out why I can't build the capitals. Where to research? Let's train our bomber pilots. Medium armor, yes. I would love to have medium armor right now. I don't have the production capacity. I think after this batch of light cruisers has finished with the Audacieux, we'll start focusing on other projects. We will reduce to only having one light cruiser in production. We'll free up about 10 IC, which we could use. Build some fighters, maybe. Or land units. Retraining. That's here in land doctrines. Okay, good. Everything up to date in infantry. Here we're researching even a bit ahead of time. We're going to reduce research by 1 and increase the training of spies. Now if we can free 10 C, we could also upgrade more cavalry to motorized infantry. Or more brigades to upgrade here. These 2 armor divisions are good. That's a composition I can work with. The crews are finished. Or 4 more light cruisers and the full of destroyers. We'll finish 2 IC as well in December. Battle cruiser only in spring of 1937. That's an additional 10 IC. Germany decides to propose the Anti-Comintern Pact. Hungary signs, Japan signs, Italy signs, and the Spanish Republic is defeated. and Jose Sanjurjo Sanel became the head of government. Hopefully much to our influence. I think we should influence Spain. Try to get Spain away from the Axis. Not quite sure if we can afford it. Have to try. See how it goes. Improving the truck engine. Good. Not replace it for the moment. This one will finish, that's good. It's almost 13 IC. I think we'll replace this with 2 units of IC right now. And the remainder. Or maybe, no, maybe with an air wing. It's better. Improving fighters, targeting selection, okay. Ahead of time fighter targeting. Probably think about whether to go with medium bombers or light bombers. Medium bombers are a lot of IC. You can get light for much less. Maybe we should pursue this avenue further. Just don't have a lot of IC, that's just a problem, so we'll stay light. Which means we'll also pursue this doctrine, so I'm going to research the first level here so I can unlock these. Try to keep things calm. The left is gaining a lot of influence. We're up to 37% now. Also keep an eye on reinforcement. I think we'll go with some fighters. And then what's left over we'll put into reinforcement. My heavy surface units still haven't returned. For some reason now we can't get up spy numbers. But our influence, Italy is still drifting towards the axis. Same thing with the Spanish state. The only thing that's really going well is trade. Stockpiles are increasing. Otherwise, France doesn't have much going for it right now. Okay. The armor has finished. Let's increase this by 1. And this will put this at 3. I'll add a wing of fighters. And infantry training is advanced. Cancel this, and do we put this we'll go into pilot training. I don't like this. Let's do both light bombers and medium bombers, because we already have medium bombers and we're going to be able to use them. So they will have to have good organization and morale, which is what the training influences. When I'm looking here at the Maginot Line, I'm thinking of something else we should maybe start thinking about improving the defenses here in the north. Won't be able to replicate the Maginot Line, but we can get a bit more defensive value here. Combine these two. Heavy artillery is ahead of time. Let's research marine infantry. We're recruiting more officers, that's very good. I still don't know what's going on with the surface units. I've never seen this before. So odd. The need for upgrades and reinforcement is coming down very slightly. Another strike, which I'm gonna solve with a deal. I don't want to deal with the descent. Unity increased by 1%. We have improved our abilities in mobile warfare. Research to level 1, giving us the following benefit: mobile unit delivery +1. That means we can research supposedly a lot of technologies here faster. Question is, do we keep researching this? Or should we switch it over to... I also like to put something into electronic engineering. I think France as a nation, highly developed nation, would probably have researched electronics as well to some extent. Oh, thank you. I'm always, when I hear my own voice, it always sounds very strange to me. Not sure I like my own voice, but good to know that some people can enjoy it. And we have eyes get detected in various countries. I think they're, for some reason, everybody's ramping up their counter-espionage efforts. And we have another crash. This probably, I think it was mid-December last time I checked. It was around December 9. But it did manage, okay, so it crashes, but it does manage to complete the autosave, because I have an autosave from December 14. It's not so bad, but I hope this doesn't persist. All right. We'll play to the end of the year, and then I'm going to have to eat something because I'm very hungry, but I think I'm gonna come back after having had dinner. What was I looking at last time? I think technology. Yeah, we decided to start research in electronic engineering. We'll finish 2 units of IC before the year ends as well. Okay, the left portion of the center is losing influence. That's good. It came down from 37% to 26%. And the social liberals are back to 15% from 12%. But the far right is gaining a bit of popularity. Probably because of the success of fascists in Spain, or the nationalists. Actually, I think yeah, it's more of a conservative right-wing government more than a fascist government. The fascists are still That's 16 plus 11, that's 25. That's 4. It's less than a third. That's not too bad. Spending a lot of money on rares and on oil. I think I'm gonna cancel some of the oil trades. Importing oil from our puppet is not very reasonable because they will give it to us anyway when they have too much. Well, maybe they are under a penalty and thus it does make sense. So, but let's cancel one of the trades with United States. This is the most expensive one. Let's cancel it. This will save us some money. What else are we spending money on? Metal. Yeah, good, I agree with that. And rares, I agree with that as well. Leave the rest unchanged. Something finished. 2 units of IC. We'll place it in the vicinity of Paris. Start 2 additional units of IC. You should get started with another upgrade. Upgrade 1 additional. Armor division. The cavalry, namely. We're improving officer training, that's very useful. The spying going great, I have to say. Soviet Union starts the Great Officer Purge, and Japan stores fuel, and Rome and Berlin form their axis. That's bad. An Italian proposal. And the first fighter doctrine is ready. And the British appoint Anthony Eden, their foreign secretary, I believe. The officer training has improved. Switch this off. We're now in 1937, so we can easily start researching 1937. Technologies or doctrines. I think we should start here with the infantry tank role. We can switch over to advanced training. I think this is great because this improves officer recruitment, gives the units more starting experience. It makes them longer to build, at least the regular units. Air build speed and naval build speed will be reduced by 5%. Good, very good. Okay, I'm gonna save the game here. I'm gonna make some dinner and I'll be back in a bit. See you later, Ituri.